Welcome back to the channel, everybody. So today we have a new reaction, and this is going to be Tears for Fears. Everybody wants to rule the world official music video, and I'm excited to hop into this. I'm excited to do this because I noticed that I'm actually at 60,000 subscribers now. It's a long time coming, y'all. Long time coming. A lot of ups and downs. But this is going to be my first music reaction, first video period at 60,000 subscribers. I just want to give to whoever sees this, whoever the algorithm falls on, I'm going to say thank you. And we still just warming up in the journey, y'all. So with that being said, we're smoking all my dragons, divine, righteous, almighty, greats, overachieving, never slacking. And let's start off with pretty much the foundation of this channel, which is great music reactions. Here we go. Life before cell phones, right? Life before social media. That's all I can think. Life when people just went outside, and I guess things seemed to be more easier. Now, if y'all know, I usually never pause, but because this is like an official music video with a legendary artist, the legendary group, I want to be careful and kind of pause a little more. Copyright reasons. Only reason I'm pausing, guys. Copyright reasons. But something he had said was turn your back on Mother Nature, which is why people are suffering today. A major, pretty much every reason. I don't care where you look at. It's because people turn their back on Mother Nature, for sure. So I'm only paused maybe one or two more times just because I'm being careful. Once again, I would rather just play it through without talking.
Help me make the most of freedom and
people seemed more together back then. Even though it's like I feel like there was just a certain time period throughout the '80s and '90s. I'm gonna look up what time this came out, but where I feel like people were kind of vibing a lot more together. Uh, where it wasn't, where they really didn't. Don't get me wrong, race and things like that always played a factor in a major part in American society due to like America being built off of just things segregated in racial groups. But I just feel like throughout the '80s and '90s there was this time period where it was like, man, let's just have fun. Let's just kind of let's talk. Let's make great music. Let's party. Let's enjoy ourselves. Let's stick together. I feel like there was a little bit more of that. I could be wrong. I was born in '93, so I really don't know like that. But that's the vibes I get. That was a great song. Let me look up when that came out. Let me look up when that came out, guys. Hold on. And once again, I hate that I even paused. If it was like I said, if it was up to me, I wouldn't have paused at all. I would have listened straight through without a pause. But there's certain artists, like I said, when they're major and they're signed to majors, I be more careful. Um, because the copyrights aren't no joke. And after making it to 60,000 finally, um, trust I've been through a lot of ups and downs where I've gotten copyright strikes where I haven't been able to post for 2, 3 months. You know, people be at risk of their whole channel. So once again, if it was up to me, I wouldn't pause at all. But that came out actually a day after my birthday. This came out. See, I was born. This came out March 22nd, 1985. I was born March 21st, 1993. So this came out a day after my birthday during the spring equinox time, period. Which is a great time to give this message. Everybody wants the world. What he said, married with a lack of vision. Man, too much of that going on, and that's also why so many people be depressed and taking their own lives and just when you program to just do things that you think is right, but you really don't be prepared for it mentally, spiritually, even physically because of how draining things can be. And sure, you may think, oh, yeah, let me marry this person, let me have a baby, but the whole time you don't even know yourself. And that might not have even been what you came on earth to that might not have really been part of your purpose, right? You still kind of have that hole in you where you're searching for purpose. Um and and that leads to depression, right? Because then it's like kind of in that, what was that Jim Carrey movie, The Truman Show? You're like in a Truman Show, like you're living this life that feels like it's just not real. Um, and to turning your back on Mother Nature, even with humans now, when you look at their heaven, right? Uh, let's go back to what happened with the Civil War. So much was destroyed. Then after you had the Reconstruction era, uh, when you look at everything that was built, Industrial Revolution, all these things release, all these trees that are cut down, all these buildings, these things release greenhouse gases, um, carbon dioxide, CO2, methane. It releases all these greenhouse gases that goes and gets trapped into the Earth's atmosphere, which then heats up the planet more, and makes the sea levels rise, and ices melts the ice caps and causes flooding. So what I'm trying to say is turning your back on Mother Nature and trying to create your own paradise, which really is like a matrix, right? It's the matrix in a sense. You're programming people to live a certain way. Whole time, the heaven that you're creating, you're really just destroying yourself slowly, right? Because eventually, with the planet heating up, that affects people. That affects people, especially when you look at the different types of melanin that makes our, that absorbs UV sun rays and things like that. The sunlight, and when you see people who lack a lot of, let's say, eumelanin, right, which is responsible for making your skin darker, pigmentation. Now things are heating up at a fast rate due to all these greenhouse gases being released and trapped into the Earth's atmosphere, catching skin cancer and things like that. So it's like the very paradise that you're building, turning your back on natural resources and destroying it, it's actually coming back to destroy you. Every time you cut down them trees, you release them greenhouse gases. They get trapped in the Earth's atmosphere, radiate, heat this thing back up. So when you look at it from that perspective, um, Mother Nature won't lose. That's really what I'm trying to say. It's always going to come back to her, no matter how advanced we think we are. It's always going to work in her favor. So we forgot the ways, the old ways, the ancient ways. Everybody wants to rule the world. Everybody wants to. Any great TV show, great movie, you'll notice that people's downfall is always this taste for control. They want to control everything around them. Um, Control freaks. Right? When you look at all the things in the world, movies like Dark Crystal from the '80s, and I'm a big Halloween lover. Halloween Town, right? When you look at these shows and you look at like the just everything it's that's going on, it's people that are trying to control people, right? Trying to control natural resources, trying to take people's power, it's just control. And that's the fight on the planet that we continue to face. Is control. People just wanting to control things throughout history, enslaving people on all parts of the world, uh, 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 taking people's lives, and stealing, and all these things for control. Wanting gold and silver and this and that and money for control, to wear the crown, to just control. What Michael Jackson said, when they say, why? Tell them that it's human nature. Why? Like, you get what I'm saying? When people wonder what human nature. So maybe the answer is to stop thinking so human and start thinking from the soul if you have one. And maybe that's where we're headed in the world. Maybe we're starting to realize, like, the more human we became, the more we detached from our souls, the more we fell, the more we, oh yeah, let's, industrial revolution, let's get advanced, let's blah 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 blah, let's destroy nature, let's control this, let's control that, GMO process, blah blah blah. when we already had everything we needed to heal ourselves. In fact, we didn't even have to really worry about healing ourselves because we weren't doing things to make ourselves sick. But the more disconnected we became, and the more we, let's separate things by money. Let's separate things by, this person's famous, that person's famous. Hey, you guys compete. Then we fall more into human nature because we forgot what our real nature is. We forgot what our soul is. We forgot who we are before we became in this flesh. Be in the world, not of the world. Hmm. So when I hear songs like that, it definitely opens my eyes more and makes me think. And that's what I separate a good song from a great song. A good song can make you want to party, right? A good song could get you, you know? But I feel like a great song is not too intricate, but enough to understand, enough to make you think, right? Simple, but you get it. You don't have to really like, something that can touch the collective in a way that we all understand and we can all break it down in our own way. I'm gonna start calling these soul conversations because I just don't like you have to have a certain level of soul to even get where I be coming from. And that's just the truth. And I believe and this is why I'm gonna probably lose a lot of people, but I do believe that there is a lot of soulless people out here. Um, mhm. The same way you can have a fruit that's not organic, that's GMO. The same way you can have a cat, a pet that's cloned. Yeah, I believe you got humans out here that's, especially when you look at the horror stories that be going on out here, the things people do. I think it's because they need to feel something. So when you got a lot of like serial killers and you got a lot of people once again who need the control, it's because they're trying to feel something. Whereas someone else who has a lot of soul, they can just go outside and just be grateful just to be go on a walk, and that's enough. And those are people who are more in tune with their soul. Whereas the people, the more separated they are, the more they need to feel something. When people be like, "Oh, I'm cold hearted. I don't feel anything," it's because they lack soul. To even conversations like this, it's like, nah, I'm okay. They want fast food things to try to, you know, compensate what they're missing. So, great song, great song. See, like I said, when I get to talking like this, that means I seriously thoroughly enjoyed that song. I've heard it before, but it's like you grow up hearing these classics, you grow up hearing these hits, but you don't get to break it down, right? Like it's like you being in a cab or something, a yellow cab as a kid with your mom, or you in a car and it's on the radio, and you hear these songs, right? You grow up, you hearing them, they're really really big hits, but you're not mature enough, you're not old enough, you're not experienced enough to really grasp and appreciate it a certain way. And now at 33 years old, I can really like hear these songs, really hear these songs, really listen to these songs, and really see what people before me, these great, whew, getting chills, these great artists before me were really speaking about. And I appreciate it so much because I'm in a time now where I don't hear too much great songs like that. I hear a lot of people trying to repeat the past. I hear a lot of people trying to keep up. I hear a lot of people trying to please society, but I don't hear a lot of people who are just genuinely making great music. I hear a lot of people who are fighting to make great music. What can I do different? What can I? But I don't hear a lot of people who like when people in the garage and they just, man, let's just talk about today. Like who cares? Let's just like let's talk about what happened at school today. Let's talk about the teacher and how she's so beautiful, and I let's just let's like I don't hear so much of just everything is like competition. Like, oh, let's sit down and strategically come up with a hit. What would they love? We gotta outdo everybody. Like, that's more the vibes today. That's more the vibes today. With that being said, I'm gonna wrap this video up. Um, man, thank you again for the 60,000 subscribers. Uh, like I've said before, and I'm gonna still say it, just warming up. Just warming up, guys. Much love. If you enjoyed this reaction, don't hesitate to hit that like, that subscribe, and that notification bell. Much love, y'all.